Hi, all. I'm Chris, and today I'm going to be talking about holistic travel. And if you haven't heard of holistic travel before, that's okay because it's something I totally just made up. Um, so, Google Dictionary defines holistic as, quote, characterized by comprehension of the parts of something as intimately interconnected and explicable only by reference to the whole. Okay, basically, that means everything is connected, and it's essential to treat it as such, which is all well and good, but how does this connect to travel? So, holistic travel is travel which focuses on both the individual and the community. When we travel holistically, we focus on creating greater connections with yourself, the earth, and the people we share this planet with. So let's divide this into those three parts. On the individual level, this means traveling with an emphasis on creating connections as well as joy and wonder. So, really figuring out why do you travel? What do you hope to gain from it? And focus on traveling in a way that really helps you and helps you grow as a person. My cat is meowing. We're happy now. Okay, so on the community level, holistic travel means it means engaging with the local community to ensure that your trip doesn't harm the people that you come into contact with. And you can do this on a variety of different levels. First off, the easiest thing to do is just make sure that your money is actually going to the community. Like, okay, don't get me wrong. I love these big hotel chains. They're standardized, they're easy. Cat is meowing again. Um, but we really want to make sure that they are not pricing out other locally owned businesses and that they're really doing their part to be beneficial for the community. Another thing we can do is we can support local organizations which address issues specific to the community, such as poverty. Um, and then just honestly supporting locally owned or operated businesses and just businesses that are dedicated to providing economic support to the community. Because it doesn't make sense to travel to a place and spend your money there and not have any of that money go to support the community. That just doesn't make sense. So, another really important factor, to me at least, is learning from the local culture. Travel is so important because it opens your eyes to ways of living and being that you may not have experienced or thought about before. Okay, it gives you a better appreciation for the people in this world. But within that, it's important to not um, abuse their culture. So you can appreciate something without appropriating or abusing it. Essentially, paying attention to what is and isn't considered respectful, and then actually listening when you're told not to do something. Um, because some cultures, they just have very different ideas of what is considered respectful or appropriate behavior. And so it's not my job as a tourist to swoop in and change their culture to better fit my ideas. No, it's my job to be respectful, to follow along to the best of my ability, and then learn from them. You know, we're traveling in part to learn about other people and other places in this giant, beautiful world. So finally, we come to the global level, which is all about being environmentally conscious, which honestly is the most difficult aspect of holistic travel. And it's really something that I still struggle with. Entire books have been written on this subject, and honestly, I just don't have the hours and hours to devote to talking about this right now. And frankly, I don't think you do either. You're probably not watching this video for super deep rundown. So there's only so much depth I can go into here, but the gist of it is that it's important to limit our impact on the environment for our own sake, but also for the sake of literally every other living creature on this earth. So there are a few things that I like to do on each of my trips to limit my environmental impact. Limiting my flights, because although flying is often unavoidable, it's also something that produces a lot of waste and uses up a lot of resources. Most of those resources are used up in the takeoff and landing process. So if you can get a direct flight, book it, because it's going to be so much better for the environment. And then when you're on the plane, if possible, say no to the plastic wrapped in-flight meals. Just bring your own, or if they don't let you say no to that, which sometimes does happen, bring your own reusable mugs and tableware, and the silly little metal straws if you have them, to just try to limit the amount of plastic that you're using overall. And then once you land, try to use public transportation as much as possible. I live in California, which is not a place well known for its excellent public transport. But traveling to places like in Western Europe, where public transport is very, very big, that allows me to reduce my environmental impact. And in fact, when I was in England this past summer, I bopped around a pretty large area in southern England, and I exclusively used public transportation. And so it actually is, in some places, a really viable option, and it's much better for the environment on the whole. And then finally, kind of popping back to my previous point that I touched on in flights, saying no to plastics, which I'm not very good at yet. Single-use plastics are a huge source of environmental degradation, from both the processes used to make them to the problem of what to do with them once we've used them. Because even though you may be throwing your, clean water bottle into the recycling bin, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's actually going to get recycled, which is really disappointing. The best solution, honestly, is to avoid single-use plastics altogether, which I admit it's easier said than done. I struggle with this every single day. So if you're new to the plastic-free train like I am, then just start small. Bring a reusable mug and use it in favor of the single-use plastic-lined coffee cups from the cafe. Carry your own tableware or metal straws or bamboo straws. I've seen those too. And bring a few reusable produce bags and containers when you travel, so that you can use them when grocery shopping as well as taking home leftovers. In the end, there's a lot of stuff we can do, but starting small is really the only way to start. Holistic travel is really, really important to me, so much so that I've dedicated an entire blog to it. I think that traveling in an ethical, sustainable way, focused on creating connections, is really the best way to travel, which is why I'm so passionate about sharing tips for how to do so. So I want to know, how do you like to travel? Do you think holistic travel is worth your time, honestly? Do you think that sustainable environmental travel and travel which focuses on people and inner growth is a worthwhile thing, or something that you would actually try doing? You can hit subscribe. You can look in the description box for my blog link, because this video is connected to an actual blog post as well. Um, or you can just comment telling me about your experiences with travel and how you may want to become a better, more ethical traveler. Okay, until next time, bye.